Hello, we meet again. Somebody sent me a text and asked me, since you read about all the books since you talk about the books that you read, which one is your favorite book? And to be honest with you, if I'm gonna pick from all the books something that I really like and that I go back and read and reread more than two or three times, it will be in the Bible. It will be in the Bible. I don't know if you know this, but the Bible has 66 books. And out of the 66 books, my favorite one is the book of Esther. I know I said this before, and maybe it's in an old video, but when somebody asked me that, I did wanted to tell them, yes, it's the book of Esther. Why do I like the book of Esther so much? Well, because she was one of the most powerful and inspiring women in the Bible. She had so many values in her, and to tell you just a few of them, she had character, she had wisdom, she was able to make amazing decisions, she had faith, and she believed in justice. And let me tell you what, let me tell you, Esther was very courageous. She was very courageous. Why do I say this? Because she risked her life. She risked her life and spoke up to protect her people, her Jewish people, even though she could have gotten killed. Now that's being courageous. The other thing is that she was wise and strategic. What do I mean? She never worked. Um, she never was impulsive. She was never doing things just all of the sudden, like sometimes we do. All of a sudden, we just make crazy decisions and they don't come out right. She really stopped and think. She fasted and she prayed. She planned what she was going to do before she did it or approach what she thought was the best thing to do. Fasting is not easy. It's not easy at all. And also you hear different things. You something inside of you inspires you, and you come to understand the you within the you, because you kill the flesh with not eating. You become weak, but you become very sensitive to the ear, to listen to your inner spirit. That's something very powerful. The other thing that she had, she was humble. You know, even though after she became a queen, she was still taking advice from her cousin Mordecai. And, compassionate, faithful, and she earned the king favor. You know why? Because of the way she spoke. So I read one time I went, well, I'll tell you where I went. I went to the synagogue. And when you enter in there, there's some words in Hebrew. It's backwards. Well, to us it's backwards, but to them that's the way they read. But the word says, "Know who you are standing in front of." Of course, it's in Hebrew, right? And I looked at it and I'm like, okay, it didn't mean nothing to me when I first read it, but then when I read it again and I understood what it meant, it gave me chills, because we really should know who we are standing in front of. We really do. You should know when you're standing in front of your boss. You really do know you're standing in front of your mom, of your dad. That doesn't mean that you're gonna have fear. We're not talking about fear, but we're talking about respect. Who am I standing in front of? My wife, my husband. I have a good ear. I'm listening to what they're saying. I'm watching them. Lately, or sometimes, we're on the phone and just at the phone and not even paying attention to the person. Or when we go eat, we're not paying attention, but we should be paying attention. We don't want to be trapped in that trap. I don't know if that makes sense. But anyway, so let me put the book here. But I want to tell you that, one thing also that Esther had, she was she was curious. She made the king curious. She was very in how do you say it, intuitive. She was suspensive. She was full of suspense because she invited the king to a banquet, and the king was like, what is this all about? He wanted to know what was this all about. He didn't even know what she was going to talk about. And just to wrap this up, Esther was a woman that stood up for justice, for power, her voice, and she believed she was brave despite of facing some fearful things in her town. Even though she was a queen, you see, she still had issues. She still had problems. So I'm going to end this up with this. There's a very, very powerful scripture in the Bible. I had my Bible here. Let me get it again. And this scripture really reminds us of something. So if you feel powerless, if you feel afraid, know this. It says here, it's on Esther 4:14. And who knows that you come to this position, in this case was the royal position for her, right? But this position for such a time like this. What does that mean? You are in the position where you are because that's where you need to be at this moment to learn, to grow, to make you better, to make you wiser, to keep going. There is a reason for this. I often say there is a why to everything. There is a why. And so if you feel like that, know that do not be afraid. There is a reason for this. Stay, there's another scripture that says to stay still and don't say anything, just wait. Be strong, keep faith, and trust that at the end, this is going to work out for your good. For your good. Because nothing happens that's going to come back to you. It's going to be good for your own good. If it happens and it's bad and we're still here, there is something else for us. And I know if this doesn't make sense, just know that there is a reason for this. There's always a why. Stay in faith, stay strong, keep going, pray, and know that things will turn around one day and be for your advantage. I'll see you next time in this program, Get Out of Your Shell, with me, Natty. Ciao. Adios.